Hello, everybody. This is Football Sight, and I'm Coach Mark.
It's Large Sarge!
And welcome to the pre-draft show. Boom, boom, boom. Oh man, it's about ready to get real because we are less than a week out from the 2026 NFL Draft. You getting excited, Lars Sarge?
Man, I'm pretty excited. Things are topsy-turvy.
You know what? I'm so excited we didn't even play our theme music, so let's do that right now. Come on, let's draft. Brought to you by Breaking Form. That's right. That's Lard Sargent's band right there. Woo. They've been around ever since he was a young pup. So anyway, glad to have you guys on. This is the pre-draft show. Like always, please put your comments in the comments section so we can get that going. Please like this video and make sure you subscribe if you have not subscribed at all. I'll put up the nice little banner that kind of shows you all that, just so it can cover my mouth when I'm talking. That's right. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. All right, guys, but we are on and we are getting ready to roll here. Tonight, we have special things to go over. We are going to go over the new uniform changes for the Washington Commanders. We will also be going over mock drafts that if you did your homework and you submitted one in, we're going to go over it. And we're going to ask you in the comment sections to make your comments and do what you need to do to explain yourself. Lord Sarge, I know you're going to be explaining yourself off your mock draft. And of course, I am going to have to explain myself over mine. Oh, yeah. All right. With that being said, the draft starts. That's right. In 3 days. It'll be come to you live out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, shown to you on NFL Network and other channels who might show it. I think it's exclusively on NFL Network, but I can't be sure about that. Our draft picks have not changed, although another team made a big trade move within the division. We did not. So we still have the current picks that we currently have, picking number 7 overall, which picking might be slim by the time you get to number 7. Just saying. Yep. If we want somebody in the top 5, we're going to need to make a move.
Things are changing quick.
Things are changing. We did do back on March 3rd, we did do a football psych mock draft that had Abel Reese dropping to us at number 7. That is not going to happen in real life. I can almost guarantee it.
Yep.
But I stick behind what Shaq and I came up with before. If we can get Connor Lew with our 3rd round draft pick, and then with our 5th round pick, get Taylor Green, man, we will have a very, very good day. Because everybody talks about number 7 overall. But here we're also talking about our 3rd draft pick and our 5th round pick. That would be my 2 picks. I'm sticking with it and I'm not changing my mind. All right. Before we get to the uniform change, this was what I reported last week prior to April 15th when we did this on the 13th of April, that this was a sneak. I've got some interesting thing about the flag being presented there that actually stuck, but the uniform didn't really come out that way. There is no arrowhead on the chest. That's a bad leak. There is no feather on the arrow in the sleeve, nor an arrow in the sleeve in the final draft. So that's a really bad leak. So that happens because people get on there and they get creative and they try to predict what's going to happen and they try to get snap clicks and stuff like that. So we propagated fake news. So I gotta want to make that out there, but we will show you right now what it really, really looks like. All right. So on a mock draft that's actually by one of the senior writers that's reported on commanders.com, you see in there on that mock draft that he presented, there is that symbol. So it looks like that actually took, or at least at the time of him, he used it for his particular mock draft that he used. That's not the official position of the Commanders, but was posted on the Commanders website. I found that quite interesting.
Yeah.
But out of all the leaks, that's the only thing that I've been able to find that actually carried over. And we don't know if that's really going to stick or not. We'll see, right? We will see. All right. Beyond that, the burgundy and gold, we have new uniforms. Those new uniforms were released. Lars Art sent me a great old video that was copyrighted by the Commanders, so we cannot use it on this show. But go to commanders.com, go watch the video. It's a cool video. Get a good perspective of what it looks like. Go out there and check that out. But what we can say about the uniforms is the normal home, the normal away looks awful resemblance to the Super Bowl era uniforms back in the Gibbs era. There are some exceptions. There is no name of the team on either jersey. You will not see Redskins. You will not see Commanders.
Love that.
Name was stripped. We're back to the no names.
I love that.
Kind of like a football team. So, like, yeah, maybe we're embracing that part of our history too by just like not having a name on our jersey. So we don't have that. But we have a drastic different alternate uniform. The alternate black looks completely different than our previous alternate black, which I kind of liked. And this one's growing on me too. But there's controversy, people. There's controversy about the arrow going through the W. There's, just like I reported before, I actually thinking about tying this live stream at the end once it goes live as a regular watched video, of tying it to a previous report that I did that talked about the name change of possibly going back to the Washington Redskins. I said that was not going to happen. I talked about the different Indian organizations, how they do not agree. We do not have consensus. And because of that, I do not see this team going back to the name Redskins. I stand behind that because until you get to a point where they get to some common ground or consensus, I don't see it coming back. Right. I still stand behind that. And I made that video like over a year ago. Mm-hmm. That's still saying. And guess what? The same Indian organizations who fought about it over a year ago, 2 years ago, going back all the way back to COVID, to going back to 10, 15, 20 years ago, guess what? They're still fighting about it today. They still do not agree. The NAGA guys love the name coming back. The other organizations out there do not like it coming back.
Yep.
They don't even like the use of an arrow, like they have some kind of copyright on it or something. But they're offended because of that. And to me, I got to ask you, Lars Sargis, because this bugs the living daylights out of me. How is it the Kansas City Chiefs can have an arrowhead on their helmet and have tomahawk shocks going off in their stadium, and they get away with it, but we just put a freaking arrow on our W and we're the ones that are getting blasted by the Indian community? Explain that.
Well, yeah, there was so much talk this week about it after the unveiling and everything. There was just so much talk about it. And the answer to that question was why the Chiefs get a pass and we don't, right? And it was because it's the Chiefs, which isn't offensive, where Redskin was the offensive, was the offense. So anything tying the name back to the color of skin was the difference, whereas Chiefs is ambivalent, right? It's a chief. It's all hogwash to me. It's all hogwash.
It is hogwash because the
no
write-up,
but
the write-up was using Indians as a caricature,
right?
And saying we don't want any resemblance of the Indian used as any kind of character or any kind of mascot. So you tell me, because we have Major, what was his name? Major Tubby.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have anything Indian anywhere. The fact that we have an arrow that ties back to our history should not be offensive, because we don't have any mention of Redskins or Indians or anything else like that. I would say if you did a side-by-side comparison of our arrowhead, our little arrow through our W, compared to everything that goes on in the Kansas City Chiefs, and you were fair about it, you should have problems with the Kansas City Chiefs, not the Washington Commanders.
Yep. And there's the whole, if you go to the Commanders website, you can read the whole thing behind the arrow and what the symbolism is. And it's Commanders. It's related to tip of the spear, the first, the top, So yeah, back
That's
to
a
the
little bit of
Roman
a
era.
spin, but
Exactly, Jack. Exactly. Going back to the Roman era. That's right.
yeah, going back to Roman, it's a little bit of a spin. Let's be real. We did want to tie our fan base back to our lineage and do that. So it's a kind of play on a symbolism of
Right.
sorts,
They
right?
tried to
So
they tried to de-Indianize the arrow.
yeah, de-Indianize the arrow, but still kind of relate back to our past because there is a huge issue with our fan base.
Yeah. If
70
if
plus percent
anything,
of this team identifies with the Redskins.
yeah.
I am a Redskin for life. I'm not a commander of nothing from this, right? Like, I don't associate with the Commanders, even though I try to support by wearing my W hat. I'll call them the Commanders. I'll be right by what they're because by trademark, by who they are, I can't do proper reporting on this show if I don't call them the Commanders because that's who they are. But I'm still a Redskin for life.
Well, I'm going to stick up for the Hispanic community here, and I think it's a disgrace that they put an arrow through the taco holder. I don't want an arrow in the middle of my tacos. Why do they have an arrow in the middle of the taco? Why? Why?
Wow.
How
So
is it
the
an
Commanders are
taco with
completely
an arrow
offensive.
stuck in the middle of it? I don't get it. I want my regular taco back.
So they offend Indians and Hispanics?
They offend everyone. We can't win.
So brought to you by our official sponsor, Taco Bell, that now has holes through the middle of it. Oh my gosh. So this is just too freaking funny. Anyway, this uniform, the first time I looked at it, I'll be honest with you, I was talking to a large sarge on the phone. I was hating on it. It looks like the jersey itself looks extremely plain. It looks like a high school uniform. As a matter of fact, I've seen more elaborate high school jerseys than this jersey. This jersey is about as plain, as simple as you can get. You got a block number on it. It's a black jersey with a gold and burgundy stripe around the sleeve. That's it. That's all there is to it. I'm telling you, Pee Wee football teams have a more elaborate jersey than this.
I love the simplicity. I love
But it's simple.
Yep.
To me, it's boring.
It's stripped down, it's boring, and it's black. It's tough. Doesn't have to be overstated in design. Actually, the simplicity makes it stronger to me. I love it.
I don't.
I think if they tried to get too carried away with it, it would look like crap.
I think it's just too freaking plain.
What would you have done different?
A lot, man. I would have put a lot more stuff on it. I like the idea. If you're gonna freaking go and have an arrow on the helmet, put an arrow on the freaking jersey. I don't, put something somewhere where it kind of like livens it up a little
like on
bit.
The sleeves.
Use brighter color gold. Like maybe make the number gold. Make it brighter.
It's throwback colors, man. It's throwback colors.
But it's just, well, I mean, throwback, there wasn't a black jersey. So like, I mean,
yeah, but it's the burgundy and gold. They kept with a theme throughout.
But you could have made like the number itself gold with the trace on the outside burgundy or something like that. Liven it up a little bit. Find ways to liven it up. You could have put like a wild stripe through it or something. You could have done some crazy things to make it kind of really new and unique. If you go and you do a search of uniforms like unique jersey designs, there's all kinds of cool things that you can do to make it cool. You could even made it a black camouflage kind of pattern or something. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that you could have done. But you know what? I'm just saying, like, it's just too plain and boring. Now, I do like the helmet, but the uniform itself, The pants I could live with. It's the jersey. I think the jersey is just way too basic to me. way too basic.
Well, it's definitely a departure from what the NFL team redesigns have been doing, where they've been with all these outlandish and crazy colors and all that. This is going way back, and it's definitely a throwback to the Gibson era. Oh, Gibbs era, sorry. And I love it. I just love the fact that we're going back to the classic Redskins colors. And the media was just completely abuzz. Everyone loved the throwback to the Redskins. Everyone hated the fact that we've got an arrow on the alt uniform, and they didn't do it on the regular uniforms.
Yeah, it's either our logo or it's not our logo.
Not do the arrow on the others. And I totally agree. It's stupid.
It is stupid. It's either our logo or it's not our logo.
Right.
So you can't like half do it.
So
it's kind of like the half, you know what?
Yeah.
Approach to trying to do this. And oh, by the way, they're only going to use this helmet for 4 games this coming year.
Yeah.
4 games. This will be worn.
So the talk was they actually wanted to go back to these colors last year, and the NFL had a problem with it. And then and the rumor is the NFL had a problem with the new logo design change. So this was a half step forward, and next year we're going to see the full conversion into that this will actually be the Commanders logo going forward. But because the NFL is jittery or whatever, this is what they could push forward this year. They couldn't get it last year, so they got it this year. This is the step with the helmet, and then next year they're going to be introducing the Aero W.
Yeah, I think this is an introduction for 4 days. Just see how much backlash they actually get from the left.
Mm-hmm.
Let's face it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The national football is very, very left leaning.
Yep.
And most owners, to include our own, is very, very left leaning. There, so it's very much catering to the freaking people who most likely don't buy football tickets to begin with.
I'll tell you, when we play Madden franchise this year, I don't want to play in any uniform except this one.
You're just going to go black the whole. Well, you can't do it on.
Oh yeah, I love.
You can't do it on away games.
Yeah,
so
I love this uniform.
But for home games, I think you can use. I mean, maybe Madden lets you use it for all your games, but you're just gonna have to change the uniform of your opponent so it doesn't clash if they're wearing dark.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what the uniform looks like. I do like the helmet. I do like the introduction of the spear. To me, I'm not gonna freaking sugarcoat it. It's a little piece of Redskins back in our history.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it is. And so if you don't like it, whatever, until the Kansas City Chiefs change their crap, I don't want to hear nothing else about it.
Right.
Because you cannot have a double standard Indian population. You either do not want anything to resemble Indian culture or anything like that to exist in any professional sports, or you can live with the freaking arrow on the side of our helmet.
Exactly.
That does not say anything Redskins.
Yep.
There you go. How was that for Mad Mike?
I agree with you. Hell yeah.
All right. Moving on. I gave everybody an opportunity to email me your mock draft. Jack Miller, who's on, got his in, and we are going to show Jack Miller's. Give it up to Jack. I see some other people on here. I don't know what's up with your mock drafts, but I didn't get them, guys. It's okay. So I don't want to hear no mess later on that I had so-and-so at number 5 when you didn't send in your mock draft because we have no proof that you had that at number 5. So I know Paul is going to be talking trash. Paul, don't talk no trash, and you didn't give your mock draft in. All right. But Lord Sarge, you got yours in. Guess who else didn't turn one in? Good old Shaq didn't turn one in. So in the future things, when he goes, hey, I had so-and-so at number 10. No, you didn't.
You know why? He has cruise brain. The only thing he's focused on is cruising.
Yeah, he's focusing on cruising. And then he goes, I don't have no internet connection on the cruise. But he could have sent his mock draft before he got on the boat. I can't keep that guy off the boat.
Hey, even I figured out how to get on the show when I was on the boat, even though I didn't get the timing right.
Yeah, you showed up about 10 minutes before the show was over. All right, so with that being said, here we go. We're going to start off with good old Jack. And let's look at what Jack had, people. And everybody, make your comments on what you like or dislike about Jack Miller's mock draft. Jack, you got to defend some of these picks, so pay attention to what other people are saying so you can do it. I want at least 50 comments in the comment section about Jack's mock draft, all right? So,
I can't even see it,
at number 1. I think that's uniform against everybody in the nation's mock draft that Mendoza's going number 1. Interesting. Averill Reese going number 2, which is majority of mocks out there. Not all. I don't have them going at number 2. David Bailey going number 3, pretty good. There's been a lot of buzz about Jeremiah Love going number 4 to Tennessee. I think that's legit.
Yep.
And My nightmare of all nightmares coming true in Jack Miller's mock draft, having Sonny Styles being teamed up with Abdul Carter on the Giants defense is a nightmare. I don't want that to happen. Like, please don't let this happen. They will destroy us constantly defensively if they get Sonny Styles. I really don't want this to happen. Like, I'm going to cry for real during the mock draft if Sonny Styles goes to the New York Giants. I just will, but I think it's going to happen.
This is what happens when you bring Harbaugh to New York Giants. This is what happens.
It's what happens, and Jim Harbaugh's not going to pass on this. So, like, unless someone trades up, unless we trade up, unless somebody else trades up, this nightmare could be a reality. That Sonny Styles goes to New York, and I'm telling you, the New York Giants are going to be a problem defensively if you team him up with Abdul Carter. It's going to get nasty. Like, we will have a hard time. I don't care how talented we think we are. We're going to have a hard time sustaining drives and not getting wrecked on plays with those two on the field.
No, hold a second there, Coach. Jeff is saying the Giants are going to trade to Dallas and Styles is going to Dallas. No. The Giants, I don't know if you saw it, Jeff, but the Giants just made the move of all moves and traded with the Bengals to get the number 10 pick. So the Giants have 2 top 10 picks in this draft. 2.
And I think they're going to use them.
They're going to use them. They're not going to trade out. They are going to absolutely use and then abuse our division next year. I totally disagree with you on that.
But we will see. I mean, I would hate.
No way they're letting Styles go to a division rival. There's no way.
I did see somebody else mention that. I did hear somebody mention that Cowboys might move up to take him. I also heard that the Chiefs might move up to try to take him. So there might be a couple teams willing to move to the number 5 spot to get Sonny Styles.
If you were in Harbaugh's spot, would you give up Sonny Styles?
Nope.
Exactly.
I would not.
Because here's why. Because you're building a team for now. You're building with what you have now. You need a defense now. You finished at the bottom of the barrel last year. You got to put a defense together that can hold teams out because you have a good quarterback. You have a decent running back. You've got an number 1 receiver. You've got some weapons. And you could do some damage in the division if your defense can hold it together. And look what they picked up in the trade. It was an amazing trade to get rid of Dexter Manley. It was insane.
So then you have Cleveland here. You have them taking Monroe Freeling. I'm a little shocked by that. I think that's high from Monroe. And then you have us taking Jordan Tyson. Very interesting because I know Shaq liked Jordan, but I also know that he liked Malachi Lemon. I am more particular to Cornell Tate than Jordan Tyson going that high. You even have him ahead of Malachi Lemon. That's tough because most people will have it in the reverse order. They would have them ranked like Cornell Tate, the number 1 receiver, Malachi Lemon at number 2, and then Jordan Tyson at number 3. You got him at 3-2-1 instead of 1-2-3. So very interesting. I would love for you to make a comment like why you think we would go with Jordan. I would really be interested in your comment on that. I find that interesting. At number 8, though, I could see them going with Malachi Lemon with the Saints there if Cornell Tate's off the board. But if Jordan's taken and Cornell Tate's still out there, I think the Saints jump on Cornell. But interesting pick. And then you have the Chiefs taking Ruben Bain. Very, very interesting pick there. I think I agree with you if the Chiefs stay there. And then number 10 pick, Caleb Downs. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine Abdul Carter, Sonny Styles, and then in the back side of that, Caleb Downs? That is a nasty defense. Why do you do that to me, Jack? Oh my goodness, man. We will get wrecked.
Well, it's
Oh,
high
that
potential
hurts.
for the whole division to get wrecked. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Francis,
This could be the coup d'etat Giants draft.
this really could be. I mean, they're so positioned. I mean, you got to give it up to Jim Harbaugh, man. That dude knows what he's doing. Francis going to the Dolphins, I could definitely see that. Dallas going with Proctor, I could see that. I mean, having Mansour Delane going to Baltimore could be a very solid reality. And then a tight end, Sadiq, I could definitely see him going there. Jermod McCoy to the Jets, I could see that happening. Like, you've got some really good picks here.
All right. Jeff is saying Dallas is going to get Styles, and the Giants are going to go trade with them to get the 12th spot and take a wide receiver. Interesting.
It just depends on what Dallas is willing to give up. Because believe me, if they're going to trade with Dallas inside the division, and you know Dallas is going to get Sonny Styles, Jim Harbaugh is going to be like, yeah, right. You can freaking dream, or you can freaking give up an entire freaking draft class if you want him that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to play
Because
Harbaugh.
do you think Jim Harbaugh wants to face Sonny Styles?
Mm-mm.
Like, I mean, it's a little delusional to think you're going to trade inside the division like that, and you're thinking that you're going to move up to take a player that we know is a generational talent who is going to wreck the league. So I personally, even though I've seen people do that, Jeff, I would be hard pressed to see that become a reality. I would be shocked if the Giants actually pull the trigger on that. And the only way I see that happening is if the Dallas gives such a ridiculous offer that Jim Harbaugh can't turn it down.
It, yeah.
Can't refuse it. I mean, it's got to be ridiculous.
Yep.
So, man, because everybody,
I hear you, Jeff. I hear you on it, but I think that's a stretch.
That's a stretch. That's a tough pill to swallow to think that that's going to happen. I will tell you on the backside of these is get very, very interesting. Yeah. Mark Cooper. I got a Mark Cooper going a lot higher than that. Dallas getting the edge rusher, a Metasor. I could see that. I mean, they've got to definitely get additional edge rusher help in their 4-3 that they're running. Kedrick Falk going to Buffalo, I could see that. Peter Woods going to San Fran, I could see that. These are not bad picks at all. Well done, Jack. Well done. I actually like your mock draft. And I don't like to pick for Washington necessarily, but like you have a good solid mock draft, and it does reinforce my nightmare. My nightmare is that Sonny Styles goes to the New York Giants, and I just hate that. And trading with Dallas and having going to Dallas, that's a nightmare too. I don't want to see that happen either.
Yeah,
I don't want to see him going to anybody in our division except for us.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Woo, gosh. Well, that was interesting. Well done, Jack. How many comments did we get over Jack Miller's draft? How many people were commenting on it?
Just Jeff. So Jeff is saying he got his stuff from Mel Kiper. I looked at Mel Kiper too today. Actually, I was looking at it right before the show. Kiper stuff. Kiper's been a wild card out there in terms of being different on how the draft's going to go. So
yeah,
I hear you on that.
He didn't do well last year. He did not do well last year. I actually beat him last year.
Yeah, we beat the hell out of him last year.
Yep. So I know a lot of people turn to Mel Kiper because of his in-depth analysis, especially on players, because I don't think anybody can describe a player as well as Mel Kiper, but he usually gets his picks wrong. But his analysis on a player is like usually spot on. So anyway, except for his comments about Ryan Leaf back in the day, he was dead wrong on that one.
Yes, he was.
But people grow. All right, so then we get to Lard Sarge. Let's see what Lard Sarge had. Wow, this is interesting. So obviously Mendoza going up. You also have Abel Reese going number 2, but you have the Cards taking Jeremiah Love. Explain that one.
I can't explain it. I ran PFF again, so this is PFF's, all right? But I ran, but PFF came up the same for us, and I took Bain. But
Yeah, I want you to explain Jeremiah Love at number 3.
Can't. I don't think that's. I think this mock draft sucks. I ran another.
Well, I told you to select all teams and pick for every single team where you thought the thing was going to go. You just ran a mock draft just picking the Commanders.
Yes, and considering
So
trades.
you did not follow instructions.
Well,
I told you select all teams and you pick who's going to go in the first round for every single team.
This is a Commander show. I pick for the Commanders.
Yeah, well, that means your mock draft
has not changed. I've run it 5 times. I ran it 1 time for last week, which we didn't use, and I ran it 4 times today. It came up exactly the same. No change.
So the only thing we can grade you on then is who you picked at number 7, because the rest of your mock draft is trash.
Not really. I think it's pretty. So I went to A to Z Sports and did their mock draft. And that threw me some curveballs, because that's when trades started to get thrown in. And I'll tell you, every single time I ran A to Z trades, everyone wanted our spot. There was at least, I ran it 4 times. Every time, 4 teams jumped up to try to get our pick.
Yeah, that is a very trade-heavy mock by its algorithm. As a matter of fact, its algorithm proposes trades for every single team on every single pick.
And some of those trades were really hard to deny. But the way that went was Mendoza, Reese to the Jets, Styles to the Cardinals, Maguia to the Titans, Bailey to the Giants, Bain to the Saints. And when it got to me, what that left was Jeremiah Love, which I don't think will be there. I think he's one of the Titans. Carnell Tate, Caleb Downs, and who's your other guy that you like as a receiver? Lemon.
And Lemon.
So when I ran it, I took Cornell Tate every single time, because Cornell Tate was sitting there for us at wide receiver. There was only one other choice in Caleb Downs. I did one where I took Caleb instead.
Yeah, but what I was looking for was to grade out someone's first round mock draft.
Yeah, I got an A+ on every single one.
So if you recall last year, I was the one that submitted the mock draft for Football Psych, where I picked every single player in the first round.
Yeah,
because I graded myself against every other analyst and every other pundit who gets paid, when I'm the one that doesn't make no money, right? But I beat everybody. So like the thing that I had going back to those instructions right here was, let's go back to it. Everyone pick a draft slip, second one on there. Make every pick in the first round. Predict trades if you like, just justify your trade, and then send your mock draft to me, and we will discuss your draft differences. That's what I was looking for. But for you basically had one pick where you picked Rueben Bain.
Yeah, I let the computer.
Well, why did you go with Rueben Bain? Explain to me Rueben Bain.
Well, it's the same thing that we've been arguing at for the last 3 weeks. We need an edge. So
no, we don't.
Yeah,
we're in a 3-4.
We got one.
So we're
all the others haven't played or are injured or sub package guys. We don't have a true edge that can play in that 5-2 hybrid. This guy can.
There is no edge rusher in a 5-2 hybrid. So
he wouldn't be an edge. You and me are missing the definition. He wouldn't be an.
So I define edge as what an edge rusher is. It's a guy who has his finger in the dirt who edge rushes.
Yeah,
that is what an edge does. An edge rusher does edge rushing. If there is no other definition. So, like, to me, an edge rusher is a guy in a 3-point stand coming off the edge.
Yeah,
hard on the outside. That is what an edge rusher does every single time.
We wouldn't use them that way. We'd use them in the new defense.
We do not use edge rushers in a 3-4 that we're switching to, because you have 3 basically defensive linemen who rush, and our outside linebackers play outside linebacker positions, which is a complete different skill set. They have to be able to play the flat. They also have to be able to drop back in coverage. They're in the cover 3. Either Mike linebacker usually has a tendency to drop back in the coverage.
Rueben Bain is outstanding in that type of situation.
There is no edge rusher that does that. An edge rusher doesn't do that.
Ruben Bain is outstanding by his numbers in that kind of a scenario. He
I
would be a great
disagree
fit in our new
because I
defense.
see nothing in Ruben Bain's game that would lead me to believe he would transition well to an
I know
outside.
we agree to disagree. I know we do.
So I will tell you, Ruben Bain is perfect for the 4-3.
Mm.
Out of the 32 teams in the National Football League, I think he fits about 27 different teams.
Mm.
Because 27 teams in the National Football League run a 4-3 who are
4-3,
looking
yeah.
for edge rushers. There is a good market out there for people like teams need edge rushers.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you're running a 4-3, you need edge rushers. A good example of what a disaster looks like is when you run a 4-3 like we did last year with no edge rushers.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we only won 5 games last year.
So I ran PFF, which never changed, which made me think, their algorithm is crap. I ran the A to Z, which gave me different results, but none of them gave us any of the same. I was down to Cornell Tate or the safety every time. And then I ran ESPN, which also came up with the same thing. I also got one on ESPN that offered Jeremiah Love. And the trades were really tempting. I actually remember one where I took a trade and went back. And I got one. I slipped back to the 12 spot on a trade, and I was still able to pick up Lemon. So the whole thing about the mock is interesting. I just think some of these simulators are adjusting live to stats and what's happening in the real world, and some are static. Like I think PFF would have. I think it's static. My opinion is. I thought A to Z is much better.
But here's the thing. None of that matters if you say I'm going to pick for every team, which is what the instructions were.
Yeah.
You don't care about anybody's algorithm then because you're making every pick for every team.
Yeah, I'll run one and pick for every team.
So
See how mine comes out against yours.
It's too late. The show's today. It's going on right now.
But I'll run it just to see how I do.
Still,
what happens?
You got one pick you got in. That's the number 7 pick. You pick Ruben Bain.
Yeah.
So you've already missed 31 picks.
Well,
because you didn't pick any of them.
I know I missed at least 30, but 2 of them I've got right.
No, because you didn't make them.
Well,
the only pick you made was the Ruben Bain.
Mendoza's going to go. That one's going to be okay. And I think Abel Reese is going to be okay. So
no, because you didn't make those picks. You let a computer pick it for you.
Yeah.
Ruben Bain is the only pick you made, so you've already missed 31.
No,
because you didn't follow instructions, you did not make the pick.
All right.
So you're going to get one right
and follow the draft with it.
You're either going to get one right or you're going to get none right.
I'll run my own personal mock draft and see how I do on draft day.
Yeah, okay. We don't want to hear about it because you don't have it for this show.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We're going to get to mine. Now, I will tell you before I show mine, it's nasty. It looks like nobody else's mock draft. And I don't even like the outcome of where we're picking at number 7. Because my rules is Sonny Styles or I want to trade back. And Sonny Styles does not fall to me at number 7. Even me picking for players, I can't wait somebody else's pick and pretend like they're picking somebody else just so Sonny Styles can fall to me. Because that would be very disingenuous on my part. Every pick I made, I acted as if I was the general manager of that football team, looking at the needs of that team and who I would pick. With that being said, I know everybody wants to look at number 7 because it's my nightmare pick, but follow with me as I go through each one. Here we go. So, I disagree with people on a number of areas, but things get very, very interesting, right? Mendoza's the obvious number 1. There's a reason why I go with David Bailey at edge rusher over Avril Reese as an edge rusher because Avril Reese is more of the linebacker type. He is more of the outside linebacker type of edge. So, and I think the Jets are really looking for a true edge rusher, which is David Bailey. So, although Avril Reese is going in a lot of people, I would say a majority of mock drafts have Avril Reese going number 2 to the Jets. I disagree only because I know what the Jets are looking for. The Jets are looking for a true dominant edge rusher rather than more of the hybrid one. Even though Avril Reese can play that as well, I just think David Bailey fits better. So I got David Bailey taking the Jets there, which at that point, the Cardinals, that's exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for an edge rusher that also plays the outside linebacker kind of role like Averill Reese. It is a perfect fit for the Arizona Cardinals. So in my top three, those are perfect fits. I can even go down to number 4 and say Jeremiah Love is a perfect fit for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the days when they had Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Right? So like it just makes sense.
Yep.
And then my nightmare comes to life again, just like in Jack's mock draft. I don't see Sonny Styles getting past the New York Giants. Jim Harbaugh is not that stupid.
Yeah.
As much as I want Sonny Styles to fall for it, that's not going to happen. So,
so let me ask you a question. If not Sonny, then who? If not Sonny, for whatever reason, they decide not to take Sonny.
There's no. If not Sonny, it's because they're trading out. But it's because somebody's giving an offer that they can't.
Wide receiver.
No, I don't see them. If they're at number 5, I think it's Sonny Styles unless somebody jumps up and gives them an offer they can't refuse. I don't see it going any other way. Jim Harbaugh's not going to let Sonny Styles pass him. And the only way he's going to give that player up, I'm serious, is if Sonny Styles goes earlier, which I don't see it. I see it pretty much going the way I have it on my board here. And I think when you get there, I don't think at the end of the day, there's going to be a team. I don't see Kansas City being willing to give up enough. I definitely don't see the Dallas Cowboys willing to give up enough to convince Jim Harbaugh, oh, yeah, I'm just going to let you have Sonny Styles. No, I think he's over there going, no, he's mine. Thank you. I'm turning my card in now. I'm not playing this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go.
Sonny Styles is mine. And then Cleveland has a history of getting guys like they can just depend on when they're picking that high. They did that with Joe Thomas, who became a phenomenal player for them for well over a decade. I see that being the same case for Francis. To me, the Browns are just going to take an offensive tackle. They're going to take the best one on the board, which is Francis. I just don't see it going anyway, which then it drops to us. And I don't like the choices. I do not like Ruben Bain, period. I do not think Mansour Delane, even though we want the corner situation, I think we're high enough on Amos and Sinistro that we won't necessarily use the number 7 overall pick for Mansour, although I like Mansour. And I think there's too much medical on Caleb Downs to think that we would necessarily take them. We have a bad history with taking players early that have injury issues. So I just don't see it happening. Caleb actually has the risk of dropping. But so that means we're going to go wide receiver. And so I picked the best wide receiver on the board, which is Cornell Tate. So Jack, you and I are not that off here because that's kind of how I had that going, which means the Saints taking Ruben Bain makes sense because they kind of run the same kind of hard edge rushing kind of system as well. So I can see that happening. I could also see the Chiefs take him if he did fall there. But I have Mansour going to the Chiefs, which means Caleb Downs. I agree with you, Jack. That's a scary combination. It is my nightmare. I am going to have nightmares. I see myself crying on draft day that the Giants have Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs to match up with Abdul Carter. It is going to be a defense that is going to wreak havoc in our division.
Well, but why would you turn on the dime on that, Coach? And you say if Caleb Downs isn't good enough for us because of his injury, why is he going to be that much better for the Giants?
Because I just think that with him, I also believe like because of the injury thing, like we don't look at him as being a Quan Martin replacement. I think our team is higher on Quan Martin than they should be, but I think they're high on Quan Martin. The Giants are in need of a safety badly. They'll pull the trigger on him because he's just the highest rated safety on the board until you get all the way down to like Dylan Thiemann, who's really a mid-round pick. So would the Giants trade back there to pick up additional capital? Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
it'll be interesting to see. Like the Giants have already made one big move. They have a chance to make more big moves before this is over, depending on how this board does. But like them getting Caleb Dales, I could see them do that because if he does pan out, he's going to be a wrecker.
Yeah.
I don't personally like him because I don't like his medicals. The Dolphins going for Makai Lemon, I definitely see like that can happen. Um, I also kind of went with McCoy at Dallas. I think that they do need more secondary help. They've got a strong defense in Dallas to begin with, and offensively it's come together. Them getting a guy like McCoy to cover down on some of our receivers, especially we get a guy like Cornell Tate. They're going to need some additional secondary help. They get it with McCoy. Um, Jordan Tyson makes complete sense for the Rams. Amar Cooper to me makes complete sense. Those two can also be flipped. It could go one way or the other. But I have seen Amar Cooper's name timed to the Ravens quite a bit. I agree with Jack. Sadiq, everybody's talking about Sadiq going to the Bucks. The Bucks need a very, very solid tight end. He is the best tight end. There's nobody before Tampa Bay that's looking for a tight end, really. So they get to pick the best one off the board there at number 15. Um, the Jets, I'm probably screwing up here by saying that they would go with Cedric Faulk, especially after taking David Bailey at number 2 overall. They might go a different direction than two bookend edge rushers. But if they did, oh my goodness, they're young and they've got them for a long time. Doesn't always pan out. We tried to do that in Washington by taking edge rushers and try to stack the deck, and it never seemed to pan out. So maybe the Jets go a different direction. If they were to go a different direction, I could see them going safety and going for Thiemann there. So it'd be interesting. But I got Thiemann going to the Vikings at number 18. So I won't continue to go through the rest of these, but like you can see what they are. I'm going to be following this closely. Pretty much from like 19 on, I stopped looking at what names were being tied to teams, and I more drafted it according to what was the most pressing need of each team after like say 19. So that's how I came up with my back end of my draft. I was going for most pressing need. And that's how I played it out. So we'll see. I will tell you, my mock draft does not look like anybody else's mock draft outside the top 10, with the exception of a few like Sadiq at number 15 at Tampa Bay, and like Makai Lemon is tied a lot to the Dolphins. But other than that, like there's a lot of picks on here I have completely different than all the other analysts. So I'm either going to lose my butt this year or I'm going to beat the socks off of everybody else like I did last year because I am very, very different. And I will tell you, there's a few of these I really like. And I'm going to tell you what they are real quick, everybody. Having a corner like Jermod McCoy for Dallas at number 12, followed by an edge rusher like Akeem Metasor on edge, the edge rusher out of Miami to Dallas. It makes a whole lot of sense. And I will tell you, it will make Dallas a lot more dominant because they got their offense together. It's their defense that needs help. And those two pieces there really help Dallas a lot. I will tell you, if there's a flaw in my mock draft again, it's probably like I was saying, it was probably picking two edge rushers with the two Jets picks. But I will tell you, I do like another receiver for Pittsburgh at number 21. I do like a solid defensive tackle for the Chargers at number 22. That makes a lot of sense. And then when I go down and I look at Colton Hood to the Chiefs at 29, certainly looks interesting after. But again, I might be making a mistake there because the Chiefs pick at number 9, I had them going with Mansour Delane. So my Jets and Kansas City picks might be a little off. I might lose points there. But I do know one way or another, Kansas City is going to come away with this draft with the corner, and the Jets are going to come out of this draft with an edge rusher. I think I probably made that perfectly clear.
Yeah.
And then the Dolphins one is also interesting. I got them taking a receiver at number 11, but a corner at number 30. So that's kind of cool. Defending Super Bowl champs, picking up a guard. Their number one need for the Super Bowl champions is to pick up another guard, and they get a very, very solid one in Chase Bisontis. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, but he is a top rated guard. And if you're picking last because you just won the Super Bowl, you want your number one need with that draft pick, and they get it. Those sorry sons of you know what, they make it happen. All right, so I hope y'all make comments off of that. Share with me what you like or what you dislike about my mock draft, and we shall see. I think our overall targets remain the same of what could potentially fall to us. Some of these could probably be debated and be scratched off already. Like, we don't believe that David Bailey is going to be there. We don't believe Ava Reese is going to be there.
No.
We don't believe Jeremiah Love's going to be there. And I probably almost say Sonny Styles will not be there.
Yeah, it really doesn't look like it anymore.
Yep. He just
a couple weeks ago I said I was very solid we had a chance, but it's not looking like it anymore.
It sure doesn't. I just don't see him getting past the Giants. So our salary cap situation remains the same. More than $49.5 million available. We have 75 players on our roster, which means we have 15 total for the 90-man roster. We will fill 6 with this draft class, assuming we do not trade back and pick up more picks, which will mean that we will have, after those 6 are signed, we'll be at 81, which means we'll have 9 additional slots left to sign players. With $49 million of available cap space, it will really be down to 42.5 by then, taking away the rookie pool that you see here at $7.17 million. So very, very interesting. And at $42 million with 9 picks, we have a lot to do. One of those players most likely being Brandon Ayuk, somewhere around the 1st of June. And then there's some other pieces. I have a feeling that people will go on a second free agency spinning spree, which always happens as soon as the draft is over.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as people's drafts are over, they get frantic for a second free agency wave to fill holes. And so expect that to happen. I wouldn't be surprised that you see teams already starting to sign players after Thursday. When the dust settles Thursday after the first round, they might already be starting to pull triggers on guys.
They're going to look to start filling holes right then,
Yeah, like they might not even wait till day 2 and day 3. They might be already working the phone. Some players might be getting a call at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, we want you to come sign with us. Can you fly here? So, and there's players out there that are waiting. They'll take that phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning. All right. With that being said, that is all we have for you today. What do you think there, Lord Sarge?
I think that's a very good analysis. I cannot wait to see this draft this year.
Well, we're going to watch it, and we're going to comment. Are we going to live stream this thing, or are we not going to live stream
it? I'd love to live stream it. I'm open and I'm available. I'd love to live stream it. When's it start?
I will tell you what. Be prepared, everybody who watches this video. We plan on live streaming the first round. You can have NFL Network playing in the background, and you could be commenting and listening to our nonsense while it's all going on, because they have commercial breaks that you can mute, and you could be listening to us and making comments and interacting with us, and it would just make the draft experience so much fun for everybody. So please join us. We will do that.
It's 7 o'clock, right? It's 7 o'clock something, isn't it? In the evening starts.
Yeah. I mean, everybody could look up the time.
Oh, heck yeah. I think we live stream. Yeah, I think we do.
I think we live stream it. And if we're all successful and we all want to do it, we'll live stream day 2. Mm-hmm. If we all want it, we'll even live stream the 3rd day. But we need to get our numbers up. So get with your buddies. Tell them, hey, listen, if you want to have NFL Network playing in the background and also talk crap online, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, baby. This is Football Sight. We love you guys. And we're out of here. Let's go.